So welcome to part 3, the midsection. Pretty sure it's part 3, the midsection. Yeah, well, it's the midsection anyway. Forgotten what part it is. Again, the difficulty of coming back to try and voice over these things after you've already built it. Kind of like, what's going on? What was I doing here? I don't know. Anyway, relatively straightforward looking this part. Decided after the front section that I would sort of dry fit some of the pieces. The side walls here that you see going on now, they're fairly snug little fit and tend to stay in place quite well. Then you've kind of got the undersides of the catamaran arms. These ones in particular need a little bit of encouragement to pop in home. But once there, seem quite comfortable. Again, another fairly snug fit. Didn't notice too many gaps or sort of joins. It was a little bit awkward to get the sides of these in. Now, what you're seeing now is sort of like the underarms. These are giving you the pegs that will plug in and hold up the hanger bays. But as you're building these, you're obviously creating like a void space. So the next stage after this is front and back plates that have to go on. The front and back plates give you the connectors, so to speak, for plugging in the front section of the hull and the engine block. You can see the shapes coming up here now. Fairly important to get them right. Do look closely at the model. The two of the support arms are closer together than the other, and when you look at the top of the midsection, you'll see that there's two circular details, and they're sort of towards the back as you're looking at the instructions. But when it's the white plastic, it's kind of hard to spot initially, and you could be forgiven for, I think, very easily kind of getting this one back to front. As it is, I actually ended up swapping by mistake a couple of the support legs left to right because I cut them out and set them down looking at where they should go, but when I lifted the model I actually ended up swapping sides, but it all worked. They all sort of fitted fine. So it's these bits here I then found a little bit tricky. The walls that we put in first, and you can see that we're following in order. The walls meant actually getting those in. You had to put them under a little bit of pressure to get them to pop in, and they weren't just completely happy. And if I remember correctly, there was one of them was quite irksome, and I think it was on this end up having to do a little bit of trimming again on part of the main model to get it fit. And it wasn't a case of left, right. I didn't get them mixed up. I didn't get the parts mixed up. There we go. You can see it snipping wee bits off because that just would not go. The bottom part of the leg was just a little bit too wide, and I had sort of looked at it. Nothing was in the wrong place. Nothing would move, and it just wouldn't marry up. It was leaving far too big a gap in the tail end sitting. You can see I'm still fighting with it here. So yeah, more chopping, actually taking off some of the support struts for inside it to try and get it to house, and then even at that it was still quite a push to get in. I went back, I remember going back and looking back over it and looking back over the parts, and I wasn't trying to put the wrong part in. I wasn't trying to put the wrong side on the wrong side or anything like that there. And the leg, even if it was the left leg on the right leg, that type of thing, there was no difference in them. That there shouldn't have been anything that caused that problem. So all I can put it down to is that there was too much plastic, and there was not the natural home for it. So the fit that's there isn't a perfect fit. It works, but just be aware that there was something. Maybe I did miss something. Maybe I did get something wrong. I'll hold the hands up if I did. But certainly from my novice like position, it just looked like one part was too big and it was stopping the other part from fitting in. Middle ones were the fiddliest to kind of just snap into place because it was quite a tight little join in there, and with the back wall in place too, you were kind of trying to get the tail end of it against the wall in first, and then push it to bring it home and get the front to snap into place as well. So this piece here is the bottom, and I sort of thought to myself when I first looked at this, thought this is going to be a nightmare. This isn't going to work. Again, you want to make sure you get this right, because the socket on the bottom of this is for another piece which is kind of like the keel, and it runs through and actually connects to the bridge section. So you don't want to get this bit back to front. So this is the keel element. Almost looks like a little ship in its own right. This was fairly straightforward. I don't remember anything too weird. Don't push the front part together. The front connectors in this will allow you to push it much tighter together than you would need to. Obviously, it's just supposed to be the width of that socket on the underside of the midsection. So just watch what you're doing, that you don't push them together, as might be the natural tendency. This little crossbar, I did wonder when I was doing this, because I don't remember ever in the show seeing the underside of Galactica, but basically that crossbar seems to be the travel tube, whatever, the workway that in the show they would travel to get to the hangar bays. So you've got the support arms coming down, holding the hangar bays up, and then this actually seems to be the business area where people and materials would travel between the port and starboard hangar bays fairly quickly. So that was nice to sort of see. I go, ooh, that's new. So that's it. I did end up having to peg this up because there was nothing really wanting to hold it together. So break out the colourful spangly clothes pegs, and after a few minutes they had done their job as well. As of yet, I haven't glued any of the sections of the hull together, because you know, stuff can still go wrong basically. I'm not sure what that piece was called or what it was, but it's another bit of the keel. That's like a nose piece. That's the bit that will actually go underneath the bridge section. So there you go. And as I say, it looks like its own wee spaceship. It's like something out of Firefly. So that's it. We're off to engineer next. Yeah, watch out for the next one, I suppose, or the unabridged collection of them all, frankly.